it's that special time again for week 2 review. I am slightly upset because our first matchup, of course, is Strippers for Christ against the AnCapistanians. So we're going to go with Yahoo's take. Strippers for Christ picked up 21.60 points from Eric Decker and 1990 from Martellus Bennett to defeat the AnCapistanians 182 to 93.86. They came into the matchup as a 10.76 point underdog. The AnCapistanians failed to live up to expectations and scored only 90.0% of a projected 104.29, while Strippers for Christ scored 7.8% more points than projected, which was 93.53. D'Angelo Williams led the AnCapistanians with 21.20 points, while Blake Bortles racked up 20.56. The outcome might have been different. The AnCapistanians had a starter score 0 points. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, screw you. Strippers for Christ, 1-1 with 183.94 points, shifts to 12th place, while the AnCapistanians, 1-1 with 282 points, winds up in 8th place. All right, well then. Of course, this was upsetting because I didn't lose by very many points. And I don't know, maybe I was blinded by, well, you know, strippers always distracting. And, which, okay, let's point something out here that I have not a clue how Drew Brees decided to not show up. Anybody want to tell me what happened there? I have no idea. But this was a really, really crappy week. And I'm not just saying that because I lost. Because let me tell you something. I have a message for you, Sarah. Because this is not the only league that I'm going to be facing you in. I have another league and I'm going to beat the crap out of you. And I got your other half this coming week. And I'm going to take out all my anger on him. And he is going to feel terrible. It's going to be like I'm going to throw him down a set of stairs, and it's going to be all your fault. All your fault. And then, in the other league, I'm going to beat you. And then I'm going to beat him. And it's going to be great, because then, you know, if I just beat the couple, it'll make me feel wonderful. And what's up with Drew Brees? I don't understand. There's a lot of crap going on, but hey, at least my New York Giants won. But whatever, Sarah, you're lucky I love you, because I'm really angry with you. Don't worry. I'll get my revenge. I'll get that revenge. I'm just staring at your points right now, and I need to move on to the next team before I stare a hole through this computer. Anyway, week 2, we had Mr. Me-Aggie against Jim Bob's really disgusting Cooters. Now, Yahoo's take. Mr. Me-Aggie logged the second highest score this week and smashed Jim Bob's Cooters. Smashed Jim Bob's Cooters. I mean, all of the Cooters? Anyway, 117.82 to 79.40. This was a blockbuster of a beatdown, with the 38.42 point margin of victory being the 4th highest recorded in the league this season. Jim Bob's Cooters was led by the tag team of Matthew Stafford and 16.50 points, and Ryan Matthews, who scored 16 points. What terrible quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford, Ryan. And then you got Ryan Matthews. Meh. Well, whatever. Mr. Me-Aggie, who is now 2-0 with 236.26 points, shifts into second place, while Jim Bob's Cooters, who is 0-2 with 173.10 points, goes to 18th place. Well, I guess people can't help but smash Cooters. All right, so I guess the top players, Stephon Diggs, well, he's pretty pimp. Carson Palmer, I happen to like Carson Palmer. And C.J. Anderson, but let me see. Now, Jim Bob's Cooters, let's see why your team is so disappointing. Who the heck is Tajay Sharp? Interesting. Well, I guess your draft didn't treat you well, and this is why we're going to never do 20 deep in team again. This was just my chance to show anybody next year when we do fantasy football leagues why we should always do 2 with just, 10 people, so that we don't have that overzealous person who wants to be the Jason Stapleton league and say, why don't we just do 20? And this is why, because it turns out terribly. There you go. All right, now we have Imma Lose to Kim against Fustercluck. And guess what? Apparently, Dave here only does lose to Kim because he definitely owned him some of Fustercluck here. So Yahoo Steak, like some kind of dynamic duo, Graham Gano and David Johnson, carried Imma Lose to Kim. So your kicker and running back led the way. That's saying something when your kicker is one of the highlights of your summary. Interesting. Moving on. Leading the way to a 91.12 to 84.6 victory over Fustercluck. They registered 18 and 15.80 points respectively. Fustercluck hit their projections and scored 2.9% more points than projected, 81.66. Imma Lose to Kim managed just 87.2% of a projected 104.52 points. Fustercluck was led by the tag team of Frank Gore with 13.80 points and Ezekiel Elliott, who scored 13.70. Imma Lose to Kim showed some mercy in the win, starting a player with 0 points, Kamar Aiken. Okay. Imma Lose to Kim, who is 1-1 with 175.60 points, moves into 14th place, in Fustercluck with 0-2 with 176.48 points goes to 17th place, and you will lose Fustercluck, because you know why? Because you can blame it on your other half who ruined my week. And I'm going to take it all out on you because you're facing me this coming week. I'm taking it all out on you, sir. You watch your back. I'm very angry right now. However, I'm going to take a little gander at Imma Lose to Kim and see what you got here. Your team is not all that interesting, so I guess that ends this commentary. How exciting. Okay, next up, the team has no name against Daka Prescott. Yahoo Steak, Mike Evans and Brock Osweiler are going to have some sore backs tomorrow after carrying a team has no name to a victory over Daka Prescott, 82.22 to 76.34. They scored 16 points and 12.42 points, respectively. While each team failed to meet expectations, a team has no name scored 82.1% of a projected 100.12 points to get the win, following a 124.12 to 77.46 win against Liberty Beans. Daka Prescott saw their scoring drop substantially this week. The result might have been even worse. A team has no name had a starter score 0 points, Brent Selleck. I am not surprised. Talking about a downturn in career. A team has no name with 2-0 with 220.76 points shifts into 4th place, while Daka Prescott, who is now 1-1 with 246 points, winds up in 9th place. And I bet you he will complain about some rule change somewhere that didn't get implemented, and will whine about it and talk about some injustice somewhere and want blah, 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 because he likes lots of rule changes and because he's a sore loser, and that's just how that goes. All right, so I'm going to take a gander at a team has no name. I want to see what's going on here. Mike Evans, Brandon Kicks. Interesting. Didn't do too bad there. All right, Mr. Prescott here. Let's see what you have. Who chooses Alex Smith? Eddie Royal. What the? You got Jason Witten, Sean McCoy, Latavius Murray, Eddie Royal, Alan Hearns, Antonio Brown, and Alex Smith. Well, he's terrible. And still managed to lose. Whatever. Maybe you should have just asked for first place right off the bat with their rule changes, and you could actually do something useful. But whatever. Okay. Little Caesar's Disgusting Pizza Legion against Atlas Dabbed. Just like Batman and Robin. Well, they need to retire this just like Batman and Robin. Jimmy Garoppolo and Julio Jones were a deadly combo for Little Caesars Legion, leading the way to a 108.46 to 94.82 victory over Atlas Dabbed. They recorded 21.36 and 19.10 points respectively. Even though both teams hit their projections, Little Caesars Legion put up 11.3% more than their projected 97.45 points to secure the win. Atlas Dabbed gave it a good shot with an improvement in scoring compared to last week's 113 to 67.94 loss against Des for Prez. Little Caesars Legion, 2-0 with 211.42 points, shifts into 5th place, and Atlas Dabbed, 0-2 with 162.76 points, stays in the cellar. Aw, sad for you. Sad day. And let's see why you're always in the cellar. Marcus Mariota. Like, he's so seasons ago. He just kind of, I mean, he came out and they were like, oh my goodness, Mariota, he's got feet too, and all that good stuff. He sucks. Oh, Team Y. Hilton's cool. Devontae Parker. Gosh, what? Isn't Asiata like, shouldn't he have retired by now? Somebody needs to help you with your draft next time around. Nope, just whatever. And you lost to somebody who named their team after disgusting pizza. It's just like nasty fake cheese goo at the bottom of a pizza box. It tastes like Badoosie, and if you don't know what Badoosie is, you either should be happy you don't know what that is, or you should just rewind this and try to take apart those words and see what I'm talking about. It's pretty gross. Alright, so Nazicake and Liberty Beans have a war in week 2. And the Arizona Cardinals defense and Greg Olsen are going to have sore backs tomorrow after carrying Nazicake to a victory over Liberty Beans, 103.52 to 86.74. They scored 23 and 20.70 points respectively. Each team fell short of hitting their projections, but Nazicake managed to score 99.7% of a projected 103.79 points for the win. With 28.84 points, Matt Ryan wound up producing the 3rd highest score this week. Liberty Beans, 0-2 with 164.20 points, winds up in 19th place, and Nazicake, 2-0 with 242.26 points, remains in 1st place. Those stinking Nazis. You know, Liberty Beans apparently not feeling the liberty, and I'm starting to think might be, I don't know if this was a good invitation to join this league, because at this point it's like you're trying to figure out what fantasy football is. I feel like if I would have asked you what fantasy football was, you'd probably stare at me and go, what's fantasy football? It's a sport they play in Syria. Alright, in Harambe We Trust against the Fighting Mcafees. Oh, what a matchup this one was. There's a lot to talk at the water cooler this morning about the performance of In Harambe We Trust this weekend. Rightfully so, as they amassed the highest score in the league this week and beat the Fighting Mcafees 136.26 to 114.60. Even Pat Benatar would have been proud of how these two teams hit each other with their best shots. Both sides met their expectations, but In Harambe We Trust put up 30.3% more points than projected to earn the win. The Fighting Mcafees was coming off an 88.02 to 84.86 win against Vociferous Ignorance and saw their scoring increase this week. In Harambe We Trust, 2-0 with 229.90 points, moves into 3rd place, and the Fighting Mcafees, who are now 1-1 with 202.62 points, goes to 7th place. Alright, check this out. And the top players of this game would be Kelvin Benjamin, Ryan Tannehill, Corey Coleman, Phillip Rivers. Looks like these two teams are doing really well. Here's to hoping that they crash and burn sometime before the end of the season, or, you know, I'm just going to have to come in there and beat both you mofos and humble your asses, because I will do that. I'm just that good. I only lost this week because, you know, got to do it sometimes, so I just wanted to get it out of the way before the end of the season, that's all. That's just how it, you know, I'm nice like that. The Sons of Odin got the highest score by a player this week with 30.82 points from Cam Newton. Oh, isn't that cute? Cam's team has Cam. And edged kmJongiL's best team ever with 115.02 to 114.82. This one just as easily could have been decided by a coin flip. The 0.20 point margin of victory was the smallest in the league this season. kmJongiL's best team ever was coming off an 83.86 to 74.74 win against PutinHarambe and saw their scoring increase this week. The Sons of Odin 1-1 with 226.08 points moves into 6th place, while kmJongiL's best team ever 1-1 with 198.68 points stays in 10th place. Ooh, look at that. Top players: Cam Newton, Matt Forte, Travis Benjamin, and Aaron Rodgers. Though I was a little worried about Aaron Rodgers for a little bit, but you know, whatever. He's still pretty good. But all right, good job this time, Sons of Odin. I was feeling a little worried about you last week, but that's okay. I still feel like you're gonna fail. And anybody with kmJongiL in your team, you deserve to lose lots. So how dare you? How dare you, communist? And well, to check this one out was Vociferous Ignorance and Des for Prez. Des for Prez over here falling faster down the points than Hillary in the polls, or when she's outside in the summer heat at 50 degrees here. Vociferous Ignorance picked up 19.56 points from Kirk Cousins and 19.50 from Melvin Gordon, stomping Des for Prez 101.06 to 64.28. Vociferous Ignorance beat their projections and scored 14.2% more than their projected 88.52 points, while Des for Prez performed poorly and got just 65.8% of a projected 97.76. Free falling like Tom Petty. Des for Prez suffered a significant drop in scoring from last week's 113 to 67.94 win against Atlas Stabbed. Vociferous Ignorance showed some mercy in the win, starting at player with 0 points, Keenan Allen. Vociferous Ignorance 1-1 with 185.92 points, moved into 11th place, and Des for Prez 1-1 with 177.28 points, winds up in 13th place. And that's unfortunate. You can't rig those polls. Well, whatever. It's okay. Not even Hillary can fix that. That's okay. We forgive you this time. It'll be all right. And lastly, we have PutinHarambe against Hakuna Yo Tatas. Here we go with this crap again. Just like Batman and Robin, Tyrod Taylor and Cairo Santos were a deadly combo for PutinHarambe. Oh yeah, hook it up with that kicker. Leading the way to a 99.78 to 79.46 victory over Hakuna Yo Tatas. They got 25.38 and 15 points respectively. Hakuna Yo Tatas failed to live up to expectations and scored only 84.5% of a projected 94.04, with PutinHarambe scored 14.7% more points than projected at 86.99. I really hate when Tatas disappoint. You know what I mean? Well, gents and lady besides me. Anyway, for Hakuna Yo Tatas, Ben Roethlisberger and Des Bryant played the roles of Maverick and Goose, scoring 21.76 and 13.70 points respectively. PutinHarambe 1-1 with 174.52 points shifts into 15th place, while Hakuna Yo Tatas 0-2, 181.16 points winds up in 16th place. Well, maybe you should change that name, man. I don't know. Hakuna Yo Tatas. I mean, disappointing, but that's okay. This is only the beginning of the season, and I guess we have far to go. But don't expect to beat me, man, because I'm good. Like I said, I only let Sarah win because I'm nice and I like ladies. What can I say? So what's in store for week 3? Well, we have the AnCapistanians against Fustercluck. who I am going to beat soundly thanks to his wife. Jim Bob's Cooters against Daka Prescott. So let's see who wins out of the Cooters and the guy who whines about all rules because he's a pussy and can't win without rigging the game. Jeez. Imma Lose to Kim will go against Little Caesar's disgusting ass pizza. And a team has no name against Liberty Beans, who will probably hand over the victory and flop around just like Gary Johnson. Strippers for Christ and Atlas Dab, that interesting little Ayn Rand and nudity. Mr. Me-Aggie against Nazicake. Watch out for the Nazis, they're always evil. The Fighting Mcafees against Desperate Prez. Need to come back strong, but man, McAfee's kind of hardcore. kmJongiLsBestTeamEvr against Hakuna Yo Tatas. Who's going to win, titties or communism? Vociferous Ignorance in Harambe We Trust. Come on, Harambe, you got to win. Ignorance is no match. PutinHarambe against the Sons of Odin. Oh, that's weird. I'll go. That one's hard. We'll see how that turns out. But anyway, good luck, everybody. Except for you, Fustercluck. You're going down. Going down.